What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. E, boss of the Southside Bosses, coming to y'all once again on Reggae Hour with the multi-platinum artist Don Dada, representing South Africa. How you doing today, sir?
I'm blessed. I'm well. Thank you so much for having me back on the show, Boss Radio. When I say it's a beautiful thing, Mr. E, big up yourself. Big up to all the listeners. I'm back, baby. Boom.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us, man. Every time we have you on, it's always an event. And I'm just so glad we was able to get in touch with you because, you know, it's been a lot that's going on in this world. And your music has always been a key is actually going on in this world. So whenever it's come to these social issues or social injustices, I always love to get your take on them. So I hope you're ready for it.
I'm always ready. It's always great conversation with you. So it's a good vibe, good times, entertainment, education. Let's get it. I'm ready.
That's what's up. Well, first, link us in. What have you been into since the last time we talked to you?
Oh man, there's been so much that's been going on. So I think the last time we spoke, Rise Up was just released, and it was sitting at number 1 or so on the Caribbean VIP playlist charts. Rise Up has since then dropped to number 4, and I have a new song that actually debuted at number 1 entitled Fire and Water. So that's a beautiful thing. I've also released the double album that I've been talking about and been just preparing people for, The Heart and the Mind. That's dropped as well about a week ago. So that's a beautiful, beautiful vibe. And as well as during that whole period, we lost such an icon in South Africa, Sis Jessica Mbangeni. So we were planning a memorial. We did a memorial tour and laid it to rest and paid our tributes to her. And Jamaica as well paid tribute to her, which was a beautiful thing. And yeah, now I'm back on trail to promote the album. So you've met me just a week after all of that. So it's been a crazy turn of events, but Jah guide and protect and bless. I'm here talking to you now.
Yes, sir. He has been Jah has placed you on a path of straight motivation, and when we watch you, we see nothing but inspiration, and we just want to ask you to keep that going, man, for real. But before we get into the meat and potatoes, tell us about The Heart and the Mind. Tell us about your double album. Tell us about where we can listen to it at, because I heard it. It is fire.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, The Heart and the Mind, it's been I've been working on for quite a while. You could call it a passion project. You know, something that I feel very deeply about. It's a double disc album, 1 disc reggae, 1 disc hip hop, and it's really, you know, putting reggae as the heart, because I see reggae as being so spiritual, so something that touches the heart, the hearts and the souls and spirits of people, and putting hip hop as the mind, because hip hop got that commercialism, it's got that catchiness to it. So, you know, I've got a whole lot of different things going on with it, and it's a beautiful album. I mean, we've got vernacular languages of South Africa in it. We've got Tswana, Zulu. We've got so many good vibes. Shona coming all the way from Zimbabwe. So it's beautiful. So please check it out. And to check it out, all you got to do is go check out any of your favorite streaming platforms, whether it's Spotify or Deezer or whatever you prefer. It's also on iTunes Music, so you can also check it out there. Any digital platform, The Heart and the Mind is available. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. And come, hey, I'm telling y'all, I'm vouching for this. Definitely go listen to it. It is definitely something that you want to put on without hitting that skip button. You ain't even going to be thinking about that skip button. Trust me, you're going to want to hear every last track on that. For real.
I love that.
Now, you were saying South Africa just lost an icon. Can you give us a little bit more information?
You know, I'm talking about my sister, Sis Jessica Mbangeni, musical sister. We've got 3 songs that we've recorded together. Love is a Universal Language, Unity, and Spirits of Africa. And what a beautiful soul she was, an Mbongi praise poet. She did her poetry in a mix of English and isiXhosa, which is a beautiful language from the Eastern Cape where she came from. And she had just such a powerful, beautiful spirit. And not only that, but she was a person that praise poetry was used to open up ceremonies. So not only in South Africa, but on occasion she had gone and opened up the New York Stock Exchange. She was also known in Jamaica quite well. Therefore, they had done a memorial and a tribute to her on her passing, as well as across the African continent. So quite a powerful figure, a community leader, and a stalwart of poetry. So South Africa has definitely lost an icon.
Man, and it's always hurtful when we lose these staples in our community. But one thing we can always agree on is that they will always be alive with the work that they left us. And we'll talk a little bit more about that soon as we come back from a word from one of our sponsors.
Very true, very true. I say this very often, that as long as the music is played, her poetry is played, her videos are played, her spirit, a little piece of her is right there for us to watch and to feel her presence again. So although we've lost her, we've not lost her entirely. So at least we can go and listen back. And I plead with people to go and listen back, because she was so powerful and she had such a strong message to be heard. So it's something that you should listen to over and over.
All right. And what kind of memorial are y'all planning or have planned for her?
Well, we've already done the memorial. She's been laid to rest. We've actually done 3 memorials. So we had one at the National Theatre in Johannesburg, where we did performances with the family and some speeches, and you know, just the moment for fans and for the family to get together and reflect on who Sis Jessica was. Then there was a second memorial that followed that up, that was done in Jamaica, with performances and also speeches by people such as Elder Fred Locks and the like. So it was a beautiful, beautiful moment and quite a touching moment to see Jamaica so impacted by Sis Jessica's work. And then, of course, she was laid to rest on Saturday. So the final act, the final funeral and memorial was done on Saturday. So it was quite a long process, but a beautiful process for someone who had given their all to the nation. So just a beautiful but sad and hard thing to see.
Yeah, and it sounds like she was a beautiful soul with some great works. We definitely going to check that out. If you haven't already checked that out, make sure y'all check that out. We're going to get all the information from Don Dada on how you can listen to her music, and make sure that y'all have that available to y'all ASAP. So make sure y'all tune in to turn up for that. Alrighty. So right now that you got the new double album out, and we know you're going to be hitting the road, to do tours soon, where you plan on going first?
There's so much that's going on around this double album. It's a beautiful thing. So it actually kicks off quite soon on the 28th, 29th. I'm doing a festival right here in Joburg, the Maiden Mzansi Festival. We're following that up in October in Ghana. So that's also going to be something amazing. And then, of course, there's the Coconut Africa Foundation in Kenya that we want to go through and perform at. And then also on the 28th of September, we're doing a benefit concert, before I forget, for the kids in Soweto with Pressure Bus Pipes. So that's going to be something beautiful. And then February is Jamaican Reggae Month, so we're hoping to be across in Jamaica and performing on platforms for the entirety of the month.
Oh, wow. See, now you go. That's what I'm talking about, and it's all sound like it's going to be all on the continent, the African continent, right?
Yeah. So, of course, like I'm saying, we're kicking off in the African continent, but we'll be ending in the Caribbean. And for me, I see the Caribbean as like the fifth district of Africa, or is it the sixth district? I think it's the sixth district of Africa, you know?
Right.
So it's home for me. I love it every time I go, so I can't wait. And I know Reggae Month is just a beautiful, vibrant time, so I can't wait.
Man, that's beautiful right there. Now, you know what? We're going to be moving around at that time, so we may catch you in the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying?
I hope so. I think it would be quite an epic occasion if we can link.
That's real. You already know it is. It's always going to be a blessed time. Blessed time. Already. So tell us what's going on in South Africa right now. Is like living wise there, because we know if anybody knows anything about Africa, they know that about the history of apartheid. They know about Nelson Mandela. They know about pretty much, especially with the Israeli Palestine war, how a lot of atrocities that was committed over there was related to the atrocities that was committed in South African history. Like, what is the atmosphere like now when you're walking around the country, when you're talking to the people there? How does people feel?
I mean, I would say that it's so, well, firstly, I would start off by mentioning that South Africa stood up at the World Court to bring Israel in for the crimes that they had committed in Palestine and call an end to the call a ceasefire, not an end, but call a ceasefire between both sides. So South Africa has been standing up against and standing for the Palestinians and standing up against a lot of injustices that have been happening across the world. But as I'm looking at South Africa, a nation as we are today, it's been quite a normal day. I think, a normal day in relative to the world. When you look at the world scale, you're looking at cost of living crises that people are going through. We're going through it here as well. The average, I think. South Africa as well, if you look at it in terms of Africa, South Africa is a first world country. So the problems that we suffer in South Africa are more first world problems than the problems that you encounter in deeper Africa. Not to say that there's no unemployment or housing problems or problems with water supplies and so on and so forth, but I think that when you look at the average person on the street, it's a day-to-day struggle to get by type of atmosphere. People are concentrated on making a living right now.
Yeah, so you could say that change is on the cusp. We got to be able to make some kind of a change so that people can start living again. Like I'm getting the same narrative around the world, especially with our with the Pan-African movement. It seems like we're hardly living anymore. We keeping smiles on our face and we're still celebrating when we can, but it seems like the celebrations are becoming to be starting to be a little far and few in between. Is that the same atmosphere that you're feeling out there?
I can agree with that. African life is also quite centered around family life. We value family time, and I think all the working and everything that people do, they do it in order to spend more time with the family or to provide for the family. So since lockdown had been lifted, and I think it's something that happened across the world, we've gone into a kind of a reset. When you look at businesses, and especially when you look at the realm of entrepreneurs, it's become a very volatile playground where a lot of people who were starting out or had just become established, or even established ones, got wiped away. So a lot of people are really trying to find their feet again and just survive. I guess it's a crazy world that we're living in. But with that also being said, there is a lot of reasons as well to celebrate. I mean, just waking up in the morning is a reason to celebrate. Having some food on the table is a reason to celebrate. God is good, Jah is good. These are things that we must never forget, and especially when you're feeling like the climate is something that's so heavy and so down. I think those are the things that can lift you up. Just the word and the thoughts and the prayers to Jah.
Right. And with that being said, with the heart and the mind, because you always touch on social issues. Now, I have yet to hear music from you where you're not touching on reality. I know you are based in reality. What is some of those realities that you actually cover in your new album?
Well, there's so many different things. I'm looking at, there's inspiration. I'm talking about being resilient. There's songs that are addressing depression. So many things that especially have been played in the music industry of late, especially here in South Africa. There's been a lot of deaths that have happened in the last couple of months. You could say in the last couple of years. So it's been quite a somber atmosphere, and so I'm addressing it, but I'm addressing it in a musical way, So it's it's quite a diverse album if you look at it, and especially when you look at songs like Rise Up, which is included on the album. Rise Up is talking back to giving praise and giving thanks for everything that you get. There's songs such as Blessings, where I'm saying that Jah keeps his hands upon us through the fire, through the storm. They can never do us harm because Jah keep his hand upon us. He protect us, you know. So there's praises, there's chants. It's quite a strong, powerful album, and I implore people to give it a listen because I think it would be something that you wouldn't be expecting. There's even songs such as Memories, for example, where talking about the life of a musician, just the hardships, trials, and tribulations that we go through, having to travel and leave the people that you love behind at any given moment, and not knowing when you may be returning, but knowing that you will be returning and you will see them again. So it's quite a powerful and diverse album.
Yes, it is. And just the 3 songs that you mentioned, and I'm glad you mentioned those 3 songs because they're going to bring me into the next topic that I want to discuss with you. But before I want to touch on those 3 songs, it's like, first, you Rise Up. Rise Up, for one, is such an inspiration. It is so inspiring. It is so... if you are not standing on your feet at the beginning of that song, you will be by the end of that song. It is definitely something to make you praise the Most High for, and you see your fight and what you're fighting for. A lot of people don't even know what they're fighting for. They're just out here fighting. So Rise Up to me helps put that culmination together to where you actually could see prosperity if you just continue to fight. And then Blessings, everybody know that the Most High Jah is going to provide. No matter what, is going to provide. So it's so amazing to know that all you have to do is just open your eyes the next morning, and Jah has you, and He's going to help you open your eyes. So that's right. That is what I got out of that. And with memories is, how do you know you're blessed? Because you remember your blessings. You have to remember your blessings so that you can stay humble. And a reason why I like those 3 songs in a way that you brought them up is because there's actually something that's going on in Jamaica right now. And I'm not sure if I asked you about it earlier. You said you didn't really know too much about it, but I'm not sure if my audience knows too much about it. But it's about Bob Marley's Beach in Jamaica. And I actually want to take this little time. I want to take about 2 or 3 minutes, and I want to read a piece of this excerpt from this article that's talking about what's going on in Bob Marley's Beach. And then I want to get your thoughts and opinions about that, if that's okay. All right. So
No, that's not a problem at all.
Perfect. All right, so I'm going to read the article. It says, the ongoing legal dispute to protect the public access to Bob Marley Beach in Jamaica has returned to court. The leading campaign group, Jamaica Beach Birthright Environmental Movement, or JABIM, claimed the law which regulates Jamaicans' right to access all beaches stems from the colonial era and is racist and discriminatory and needs to change. According to a statement on the advocacy group's Instagram page, they will return to Sutton Street Resident Magistrate Court this month to continue in defense of a case for prescriptive rights to access Bob Marley Beach in perpetuity. The statement continued, "We call for the government to vacate instruments of law that continue to undermine the public and deny them of their rights to frequent beaches that are post-colonial hostages of the plantation tourism model." So pretty much what is going on with this, what I've been studying, is that all the beaches in Jamaica are privatized. They're owned by the colonial government there. And they have restricted access for the residents, the actual indigenous people of Jamaica, to access those actual beaches. And they're trying to build on them and pretty much take them away from the public and make them for tourism. They're fighting this right now in Jamaica. I just want to get your thoughts and opinions based on that story.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that soon as we come back from a word from one of our sponsors.
Well, based on what you're telling me, my initial thoughts is that, it's strange that people want to own something that's unownable. You want to own Ja's land. You want to own the beach. That's incredible. First thought, the beach is Ja's. It's for everyone. It was put there for everyone, for everyone's enjoyment. And I can't see how you can stop people from accessing a beach that's in their land. I mean, the island is the land that Jamaicans are born on. It's their property. Where else should they go? Where do you want them to go? So it doesn't really make sense to me. Also, upkeeping colonial laws in Jamaica is also quite a strange one. We're talking in 2024, the upkeep of these laws. How long were these laws placed? Is it like a 100 years reserve, terming that it's unusable by Jamaicans? Or is it forever? Because you're saying that they're building, and this properties that they're building upon the beaches is going to be earning them income, and the income is going to them. The income is not really, is it developing Jamaica? What is it doing for Jamaica? So I think it's wrong on multiple levels. It's a fight that we've been having across the globe as black people, unfortunately, because in Africa you have a similar thing where they wanted to annex Cape Town from being a part of South Africa and make it its own country.
Wow.
So the land issue is a very big issue within South Africa. And in Cape Town, specifically, with a lot of people born in Cape Town saying that they cannot afford to live where they previously have, and generations of them have lived. They can't live there anymore because the prices that have been put there because of the tourists that are renting and buying accommodation has put them out of their homeland. So it's a crazy thing that's happening in the world. On one hand, you want to say that we're all human beings, and you cannot be a foreigner if you're on planet Earth because we're all humans together. But on the other hand, you have to think that if people have been living in a specific place for hundreds of years or forever long they have been there, if you get there, would you not rather want to get along and live with them in peace than rather take what's theirs and make it yours? How does that make sense, making it yours? So the same thing with the beaches in Jamaica is that how can you take beaches in Jamaica away from Jamaicans and give it to people that are not Jamaican? It doesn't make sense.
Right. And like you said, this is happens all over the world to black people. Like you were saying, that was my first time hearing about how they tried to annex Cape Town from South Africa. Is that something like how they trying to they pretty much annex Egypt from Africa?
Yeah. So
wow,
this is like I said, something that's happening continent-wide, worldwide. It's a crazy thing. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that it was possible to do it, but that's what people are doing. I mean, if you can do that, would it be then possible for them to annex the outskirts of Jamaica and make central Jamaica for Jamaicans and the beaches only for their own lands? Or what would be the next move? It's a slippery slope. If you're saying that it's Jamaica, then everything is Jamaica.
Right. And I just pictured what you just said about making inner Jamaica just for the Jamaicans and then the outer beach area for the tourists and the colonists and stuff. I just pictured that in my head, and all I could think of was that's the inner Jamaica is the slave quarters while the outside is the plantation. And wow.
Yeah.
See, this is why we have to have these conversations, because people don't actually see things this way. There's actually some Jamaicans who do not see a problem with the privatization of the beaches in Jamaica. How do you reach people that are like disenfranchised but don't know they're disenfranchised?
Well, it's a difficult thing. I mean, I'm not sure. On all of the things that go into the speech thing. Perhaps they're buying the land from the people at a lower price and then jacking it up when they're redeveloping these beachfront properties or whatever. I don't know exactly what's going on there.
Right.
So all I can say is that where you're always going to have people that have different opinions. I guess that's why you even have different political parties. People do not all vote the same, do not all think the same. But I think that the best way to think of anything would not be in the short term, not to think about what money you could get from it now or all of that, but think about the future for the future generations, that if this land or this beach is gone and we're not allowed to access this thing, what's going to happen for the children and the children's children's children? Will they be able to access it? Will they be able to make money? We used to fish perhaps here. Can we still access the fish, which could be our food supply? So there's a lot of questions that you have to ask before you decide these things. I can't speak on behalf of a community that I haven't lived in, and I don't know the whole story. But I do think that it's a very dangerous ground to tread upon, because by first losing a little bit, you can end up losing a lot.
Right. You're right about that. And I did want to throw one other fact about this. It looks like Ziggy, and I just ran across it. Ziggy and Sadella Marley are teaming up with Jabim, the political group or the leading campaign group that's against the privatizations. They joined them in order to be able to fight off the privatization. So it looks like they got two heavy hitters with them, with the Marley Foundation.
Yeah, I mean that's very powerful. If the beach is named Bob Marley Beach, and you got the Bob Marley Foundation saying that we want the people to have access. I mean, think about what Bob Marley stood for: one love, unity. You know, so if you got Bob Marley's name and his spirit behind you, I don't think it's something that they could pass very easily. It's going to be a hotly contested subject for a while.
Exactly. And I just hope that it comes out on the positive side, because like you were saying, if it can happen here, it can happen pretty much anywhere, all over. It's happening all over the world, and we have to put a stop to it for real. And that's why I got to say, man, your music pushes that. That's why I got to say, that's why we have you on here. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but what were you going to say?
No, it's all good. It's all good. No, I was saying 100%. I agree with you 100%. It's something that we have to always think about, you know. And I want to say thank you. You know, I love coming on to Boss Radio and just conversating with you. So it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoying the music and the albums. It's for people like yourself that I make them. So thank you.
Yes, it is wonderful. So thank you so much for that. Matter of fact, go ahead and tell everybody, because we're coming towards the end. Tell everybody one more time, how can we get that album?
The Heart and the Mind, available on all digital platforms, whether streaming or download, whatever you prefer. It is available. Go and check it out. Double disc, The Heart and the Mind, one disc reggae, one disc hip hop. It's a whole audio journey. So, you know, clear out some time on the day to sit down, relax, and enjoy. Yes,
sir, definitely. Go check out track 4, y'all. Fire and Water. That one right there, boy. Hey, I don't know what they know about when fire and water mix. They think that water put out fire. They don't understand that water got that oxygen in it, man. It's gonna make it explode, man. I love it.
That's the whole thing. I'm giving them that real power. You know, that there's always a message in what we do, and so I'm glad you picked it up.
Oh yes, definitely, and the rest of y'all better pick it up too, because like we just discussed, there's so much going on in the world with these atrocities, so we definitely need more music like this. So please go out there and stream it right now. Find your boy on all streaming services, whether it's Apple Music, Spotify, Earground. I see you on Earground right now. Amazon. If we got articles on the African Dream, man, all you got to do is Google them, and you're gonna find it. I swear, y'all are.
Also, get me on DonDadaMusic.com. So don't forget, you can check that out as well. It's a good vibe. We're everywhere.
That's real. Y'all make sure y'all look in the description, click the links, follow, subscribe, and share it today. Oh, Don Dada, is there anything else you want to tell the people before we take off tonight?
You know, I just want to say thank you to the people, as always, for the support, for always being behind myself, being behind Boss Radio, for listening, supporting reggae music, the hip-hop movement, download, stream the album. Don't even just download and stream the album. Download, stream, share the link, get your friends, your family to download, stream, and share the album. It's a good vibe. Thank you very much for your time. Love and respect. Until the next time. Boom.
Yes, sir. That is Don Dada representing South Africa here on Boss Radio's Reggae Hour podcast. Y'all make sure y'all tune in, turn up, and zone out. We out, baby.